All right, I'm gonna do my best to sign off with this one. So in my last video, I was talking a little bit about how profound it would be to enunciate and have a grasp of what's understood as karma, according to the Arthur Avalon. That would actually attend or constitute or signify a degree of enlightenment to enunciate what karma is. But I'm gonna do my attempt to approach that, but not. I don't claim to actually capture or fully understand or grasp what karma is. But I'm gonna make a crack at it with this. Is that when you say the word karma, karma is similar to energy in that most people know what you're reaching for when you say either karma or energy. And energy attends most understanding of science and what can be done with things like smartphones. So as you're watching this maybe on a smartphone that's not connected to anything by wires, what's facilitating that is some of humans' capacity to understand what's appreciated as energy in terms of like electricity and radioactivity to convey seamless, invisible messages that can be intelligibly and coherently instantly deciphered and responded to with a contrivance such as a smart device. But um, but still, I think that even people that might even conceive some of these things, they would struggle to enunciate what energy is clearly and simply. According to Albert Einstein, if you can't explain something to a small child, you actually don't have a full grasp of what you're referring to. And I think some of that might be the cadence that you speak at, where I think that a lot of things, video content of any kind, if you have a clear grasp of what you're talking about, and you take the play rate down, like on the YouTube features, you can hear the true personality that is experienced background and attitudes of a person, good and bad, in their voice. And then also you can hear the inflections and you can understand and grasp what they're speaking about more clearly and slowly the first time through at a slower rate. So you could whatever can be understood in what I'm saying with this video to a young person, it could be understood to both a young person and a seasoned person far and away better by taking the rate of playback to at least 50%, if not 25%, on the very YouTube parameters that are available. But my understanding of what's called karma is that the word karma and also energy, they actually confuse a person as soon as they're uttered. And so they lend themselves to, some people would say to talk about karma creates karma. That might be true in the fact that even the word karma, as it's appropriated from another culture and received outside of that culture, there can be oversights and assumptions that would amount to an actual misnomer and an oxymoron just in the uttering of that word, because it implies a, a moral judgment, both to judge actions in themselves being incited as good or bad, but then also to judge the consequence and aftermath as good or bad. That's actually arbitrary because good and bad are judgments the whole time. And all fields of awareness within all positions and vantage points of experience and awareness that we are aware of as mortal beings in the human in the experience of what's called reality existence, outside of maybe a collective cohort like seven wise men or just the totality of existence, and also the diversity and dynamics of existence that would be appreciated as supernatural. Outside of that, in ordinary mundane terms, there are limitations to any vantage point that is blind spots, that is assumptions, that is gray area. Even if you were to appreciate something in strict numerical terms, like in terms of research and studies, there would research and studies and numerals lend themselves to a gray area in science. So there's actually a gray area in science: ambivalence, blind spot, contradiction, assumption, ignorance within your most exact research that you actually can't get away from, simply because you are approaching something from a vantage point that is a preconceived value system. Whether or not you set something up upon the scientific method, there are assumptions and preconceptions and things that you are looking for and scanning for and searching for within research that actually is a limitation to the research itself, that would constitute a gray area and blind spot. So such is all judgment of things of all judges, good and bad. So to appreciate karma that with smack of good or bad, better or worse, favorable or unfavorable, is it actually it's a detriment to understanding what you're reaching for. But a more clear, concise understanding, according to me, would be just a cycle. Because according to a book on poetry, I'm going to re-reference that. I referenced it in another video. All of life, all of existing, is comprised of rhythm, such as the rhythm when we're breathing, the rhythm when we're talking, the cardiopulmonary rhythm, the cadence of the circadian rhythm of night and day sleep cycles. All of life is facilitated and attended and relative to dynamic cycles, that is rhythm. And so such as like the word yoga, according to Arthur Avalon, it may refer to what's called homeostasis, that is the dynamic balances that make us viable and able to exist and experience ourselves as existing, is attended by dynamic balance, that is dynamic rhythm. And that is cycle. And these cycles, there's actually, I think there may be no stopping any cycle that has commenced and initiated, because once something has initiated and commenced and can be appreciated as such, that's now an effect. So to perceive it, it would take an effect to perceive it. That something is in effect and perceivable means that the cause is already at play, and there's actually there's no end to a cause. There's no stopping something that has been caused. Cause is unstoppable. Someone say, what's the goal? What is the greatest? Cause is the greatest, because there's no stopping cause. You can only mitigate and supplicate to cause. So you have your free will, but your free will abides within dynamic cycles and rhythms. So you, with your choice, with your sacrifice, with your good conduct, with your poor conduct, with your good decision, with your poor decision, you can mitigate. That is, you can somewhat alter the onset of the experience of an effect, but the cause is at play. And the only way to truly exit or alter the cause would just be to bow down to it and pray and supplicate and beseech mercy. So you're not getting outside of or beyond any cause that's out play, in my taste, without mercy, grace, humility, supplication, and you might add favor to that. And so I was explaining to a family members that a lot of the painful things that we've experienced in life, him and I and people in general, are actually attended by and are within dynamic cycles, that is causes that are at play. And so the only way beyond that is actually going to take mercy and grace, because even were you to line up what it takes to exit a cause, right? So you have your own living situation, you have your own vehicle that you paid for, and you have maybe independent work. Now someone says, yeah, but no, yeah, you coughed up that money, but that money is actually what it costs for me to give you the time of day and make you feel like a customer. That's what I require, is that money you gave. So that you have nobody to check this, that you have no oversight, that you have no authority to call me to task without spending a lot more resource. I'm just telling you no, because you might have the finance, but you don't have the leverage in the relationship, so it's a no-go. So you actually have to throw a lot of things at a wall before something sticks. But every once in a while, something actually will stick, and you may exit a cycle. But that's something stuck that would have been intended by some form of mercy or grace to get you to the point to do that within a lot of bad acting and cycles, and bad acting on top of cycles, and cycles within and on top of bad acting. None of us are getting away from that. That is experiencing freedom without mercy and grace and humility, I don't think. So I was explaining that to a family member, but I think a better word than karma is just cycle, imminent cause and effect, not good or bad, just guaranteed, imminent. That's what's being referred to as karma. And were you to actually stop that, to completely cease that, you would have actually ceased the entire universe, because all the universe is interconnected and rhythmic and cyclical. So to stop or affect or affront any particular cycle would affect all cycles. So sometimes I think that when sometimes people have an experience of like a higher power or a spiritual experience, something outside of the normal range of what happens and what's perceptible and clear, that might actually not be that something is good or bad, or that something is worthy or unworthy. It might be that you actually got to the point of affronting or interfering with some form of cycle, for better or worse, and that prompted the appearance of something outstanding, such as like when people are fighting, like say people are mixed martial arts fighting, the referee doesn't intervene because they care about you. The referee intervenes because someone's actually getting to the point of about to hurt you in such a way that you can't do your other duties outside of the ring. That would cost your family and loved ones, and that would also cost the viability of the sport if people are losing their life in the sport. So they are intervening and stopping you from getting killed, so that the sport can go on, so that the show can go on, so that your loved ones can go on. Not so much that you can go on, because if it was about you, they wouldn't mind. They would have a problem with you getting pummeled that entire fight. So the only time that something significant, an arbiter, a referee, oversight, greatness is intervening is if the cycles are in jeopardy, or there's something that impacts the cycles at play. That'd be the only appearance of something great, I think. But these are what cycles are, and I think balance is also just cycles.